Right now, we're going to return to big political news of the week and the new Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, who has an in-tray absolutely fit to burst with domestic issues. But he is still taking flack for his decision not to attend the COP27 climate conference. And then there's in-party division over the reappointment of Suella Braverman as Home Secretary. How is he going to negotiate his way through all of this? Well, someone who has been following all of these stories very closely is the GBNews political reporter, Olivia Utley. How is he going to negotiate all of this, Olivia? Let's start with the Suella Braverman. I see she's being dubbed Suella Cruella in the papers today.
And it's very tricky for Sunak to work out a way through this mire. I think there was hope in the Conservative Party that the wind was going out of Labour's sails a bit, but now we've seen news stories in the paper today about Suella being responsible for this diphtheria outbreak at the Manston immigration
Which
centre.
is what we were just where we were just seeing that fire, in fact.
Exactly, yes. And there's massive overcrowding there, and the Times is reporting that it's because Suella Braverman has been refusing to either pay for immigrants to stay in hotels or to allow them to be bailed for immigration purposes. So there's massive overcrowding at this Manston centre. That's on top of all the issues. Of course, she was sacked only, what was it, 2 weeks ago now? Because I've totally lost track, because of a security breach. And I think what's quite difficult for Rishi Sunak now is that it feels as though his political future is very much wound up with her political future. There were those on the quite powerful right of the Conservative Party, both MPs and party members, who weren't at all sure about Rishi Sunak as Prime Minister, but were sort of prepared to accept him and to sort of throw their weight behind him if he had someone on the right of the party sort of holding him to account on some of those important social issues. He didn't promote Kemi Badenoch, who was the other sort of hero of the right of the party, which means that Suella is now the kind of lone queen of the right, which gives her an awful lot of power. So it's being said that Robert Jenrick, who's a close ally of Rishi Sunak and is much more on his wing of the party, has been put into the Home Office as a more junior minister, sort of to keep an eye on Suella Braverman. But that's all very well. Suella Braverman won't really accept having an eye kept on her. And if she wants to, at any point, she can throw in the towel and resign. And as we saw with her resignation to Liz Truss, she's not afraid to pull her punches. And she could turn the right of the Conservative Party against Rishi Sunak at any moment. So in reappointing her, he sort of stabilised his government in the short term and achieved some sort of party unity. But it feels as though that stability could be wrecked in an instant.
You see, I'm not really a political animal, but watching this from the outside, like most viewers, like most people in the country, we wonder why anybody would be so destructive in their attitude towards the man who is now the Prime Minister, that they would want to destroy him and in the process destroy the Conservative Party. The Labour Party are quite right in what they are saying at Prime Minister's Question Times, in all of the newspapers today, calling for her resignation, calling for a general election. You know, Rishi Sunak, as well as having this great in-tray of domestic things that he has to sort out, he's also having to fight off the Labour Party at the same time because of all the infighting that's going on within the party. Haven't they got a gram of common sense between them to say, as I was talking to Freddie about just now, that it's the death knell of the party unless they get themselves sorted out?
Yeah, I mean, it feels as though over the last couple of weeks, Conservative members and MPs' minds have been focused a little bit by the prospect of sort of electoral oblivion, which they were certainly facing before Rishi Sunak took the helm. But I think part of the problem is they've just been in government for so long, the Conservative Party. They're tired, exhausted, and those factions have just split off, and there are factions of factions now. I think one quite interesting one is that, you know, we're used to seeing the kind of wets and dries of the Conservative Party, the left and the right, but the right is now split into two different camps. You've got the sort of social right, who are very concerned about cracking down on immigration, and then you've got the sort of Trussite right of the Conservative Party, which is all about small state, low taxes, the libertarian right. And they're two very, very different parts of the party, and they're on the same side of the Conservative Party. So I think there's so much fracturing there. It's hard to imagine how they can come together for any long, sustained period of time.
What a mess. I'm sure Mrs. Sunak wants to say to Richie, just knock their heads together, for goodness sake. Olivia, thank you very much indeed for that analysis. Thank you.